Hey, you want to make some lamb chops together? Come on, let's do this. Today I'm going to make some lamb chops with my sous vide. I've got a birthday party to go to later, but I've been trying to use my sous vide more often lately. What's nice about the sous vide, you can hear the sous vide going behind me. You can use whatever tub you'd like, and you bring the water up to the temperature that you need for what you're cooking, and you just put your food in a bag in it. It cooks, and it won't overcook. So I'm going to come back later today. It's going to be at the temperature that I set, and then I'm going to pan sear the lamb chops to give them a little bit of a crust. I'm going to make some potatoes. I'm going to put those in the crock pot, so those are also ready when we get home. So first thing I'm going to do is make a homemade marinade for the lamb chops. It's kind of a honey mustard vinaigrette that I'm making today. Let's see. 2.5 tablespoons of ground mustard. My ground mustard is over here, the type that I used. And I'm thinking about doing something where we just kind of do a roulette, where I have the different gadgets I have to cook with, a food that I want to cook with, and kind of a flavor profile that we're going for, and then maybe we just draw one from each category, put something together, see what we come up with. I know there was a cooking show challenge, there was a cooking challenge where they did the same thing with their randomizer. Alright, so I'm doing honey, 2 tablespoons of honey. Alright, a 1/3 cup of rice vinegar, a 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Now, it called for shallots, but I have spring onion, so I'm going to do that. Some minced onion in there. And we are going to put the lamb chops into a bag with this marinade and then cook it with the sous vide. So it's going to cook all these flavors and juices into the lamb chops. So, got pepper. And as always with all of my recipes, tweak it as you want. Do what you like. If you have something in the house you would like to use, add something, take something away. Change it up however you like. Fresh ground garlic. And then a little bit of salt. When these are done cooking later today, we're going to pan sear them together with a little bit of this leftover marinade. And I'm also going to make some asparagus. We're going to pan sear that with it. And then, like I said, there's some potatoes I'm going to make up in my crock pot, so that's ready along with it. So a really awesome meal that basically cooks itself, and I'll come back later and finish it up with just a few minutes. Can't beat that. If you like the idea of the sous vide, make sure you check out my porterhouse steak that I sous vide. It was so good, so tender. I made a different homemade marinade with that one and sauteed some fresh mushrooms with that. Really, really good. You know what I'm missing here is citrus. I'm going to add just a little bit of some lemon juice. Alright, I'm going to try not to get the seeds in here. Yeah. Alright, we'll just do it in my hand. I just washed my hands. Got a little bit there. Alright. A little bit of lemon. Oh, I know you saw that. Nice. Wouldn't be a day on Cooking with Michelle if we didn't have a nice little incident, but oh well. Alright, well I'm going to mix this up and I'm going to taste it. Alright, here's what it looks like. That's really good. I like the mustard. I think I found a lemon seed. Sure did. So good I did damage control and found it right. That's really good. I love that. I love the mustard flavor to that. If I didn't run out of the stone ground mustard, I think I'd add just a little bit more of that. That is really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and get these lamb chops put into a bag, and we'll put some of the marinade in and we'll get them ready for the sous vide. Get a little bit more mustard out of this jar because there's some around the edges, and so I added just a little bit of the extra virgin olive oil in here to collect a little bit more mustard flavor. But this is really, really good. It's got the tart mustard flavor with a little bit of the lemon. All right, so the lamb chops are going. Now I'm going to get the next step of our meal ready so that when we get home, it's ready to go. I'm gonna make some potatoes in the crock pot so that those are also ready. I have Yukon Gold potatoes, my favorite. You can use whatever you like. You could use the little mini potatoes, whatever potatoes you prefer. I've already soaked these and dried them, so these are already clean. You could peel the skin off if you don't want the skin on them. But I'm just going to cut these in bite-sized pieces like this. I've dirtied enough dishes today. I don't need to add to the mix, so hopefully you've got something fun going on this weekend. I love to do easy meals where you set it and you come back and it's ready. So using the sous vide and the crock pot at the same time, we're going to come back and we'll just pan sear the lamb chops and asparagus briefly, and we will have dinner. So yeah, I'm making extra of these potatoes on purpose so that I can pack them in lunches for this week. I love going to Sam's Club. They have pre-cooked chicken breasts, like they have garlic and herb, that's my favorite, and they have a mesquite grilled chicken, and so it's just a nice easy meal to make some type of an easy side like this, and then just pop a piece of the frozen chicken that's pre-cooked into a container, and the next day you have a complete meal. You can always buy their rotisserie chickens. You can do a veggie as a side. It's just a simple, easy thing to do. All right, so the potatoes are all in there. I've got some fresh spinach. I'm going to chop it up a little smaller and just dump this in here. Always looking for ways to use what I have left in the fridge. And I thought, you know, this is going to go bad. Let's throw some fresh spinach in there. Just a little bit more. I'll save the rest for an omelet. I love omelets with mushrooms and spinach. Asparagus, oh my gosh, that's my favorite. All right, let's move this over here. Oh, I forgot a potato. Stray! Now, we'll get into the fun stuff. So I've got some salt. And this will all get mixed up when I get home. Pepper. I think everybody's house has their own kind of favorite seasonings they use, so these are kind of the things I use a lot. All right, a little bit of minced onion. Garlic powder. Parsley. All right, and these, I've found these I feel like I found it at like Tractor Supply, Walmart. I went to a boat show, they had these, Mediterranean marinade and dip. It's got an oil base to it, but there's tons of like seasonings and fresh garlic in it, so there's tons of stuff in there. So you just shake it up really well, and then I'm just gonna drizzle this all over the top. I've done some potatoes before with this. See the nice seasoning chunks coming out? I just love this stuff. It gives it so much flavor. I know I made some potatoes with this before where I shook the potatoes up with the seasoning and seasoned it up a little bit more and just baked it in the oven. Amazing. Fresh grated Parmesan. Put some of that so it melts right on top. All right. Now the best part, we just turn it on. I'm just gonna put it on, oh, got a visitor here. I'm gonna put this in the crock pot over in the thing there. I'm gonna set it on high and then we'll come back to it when we go home later. The lamb chops going back behind me in the sous vide, they're done. We've been gone for a few hours. And so the potatoes, I checked on those in the crock pot, those are done. I did them on high for 2 hours and then I turned them down to low before we left for the party, and we've been gone for a couple of hours. So it was good I turned them down to low. And I did add, right before I started them, right after I started telling you what I was doing, is I took a little bit of this Better Than Bouillon chicken base, probably about maybe a teaspoon of it. I didn't have a whole lot left in here. And then I filled it with hot water, and then I mixed it up and I dumped that in there to give it some more liquid in the crock pot. So that is in there. And I tasted the potatoes. They turned out great. I chopped them with a little bit of this fresh shredded Parmesan, so those are ready. Now what I'm gonna do is quickly cook up the asparagus, and then we'll pan sear the lamb chops, and then we'll be ready to put it all together. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this up. We'll bring this up to heat and we'll cook this asparagus up. Okay, I'm going to add in just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. I don't want to go crazy on it because my marinade has some oil in it too. So I want to do a little bit to just get the flat end of the pan cooked up here. Fresh asparagus, I already snapped the ends off so that we don't get the bad ends. Snap those off. Go ahead and get those put in. So I've got my marinade. Go ahead and dump that in there. Just gonna let this go just a couple of minutes, stir it around a little bit more. Won't take very long. Oh, I can smell the ground mustard and the garlic. It smells so good. Shredded Parmesan. And then just a little bit of the sea salt. Go ahead and pull these off and set them to the side. So now we're going to get the lamb chops put in here. There's some cheese. There's the asparagus. Looks really good. Putting this on max sear, so that means it's going to create a crust on these really quickly when I get them in. I'm not going to be cooking these long. I just want to get a little crust on each side. That is it, because these are cooked to the temp I want. You can see that they cooked in the marinade. Cut them out. All right, flipping them. Got a little bit of a brown on that one side. Just giving them a little kiss of color and sear. That's all we want. Just for a couple of minutes, we'll make a plate up and we'll try the whole meal together. All right, so I've got my potatoes. Let's grab some asparagus. And a lamb chop. I like these because our butcher cut the bone out. Okay, let's test this out. First, I'm going to try some asparagus. First, I want some asparagus. You can see that nice Parmesan on there. There's the crisp. The crisp that I always wanted my asparagus is there. I can taste the marinade. Alright, potatoes. Piping hot still. I put a little bit of that fresh Parmesan on there too. There's a lot of flavor in those. All the different seasonings, that marinade that I put on there, the cheese, the chicken bouillon. That's amazing. Now let's try this lamb. Really, really tender. Yeah, very, very tender. Nice and hot, but extremely tender. That is really, really good. Yeah, the marinade in there just makes it so easy to cut, so easy to chew. Really juicy. You can't overcook it with the sous vide, which is wonderful. If you have something you want to cook, that it's a really nice cut of meat or something that you want to make sure you just don't overcook, sous vide is an easy way to go. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. As always, make sure you check out my other content on Let's Cook with Michelle. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok.